are not trying to conceive, if you guys are wondering. I'm just giving advice. I have been requested by quite a few of my viewers to do some trying to conceive videos. I used to do them a lot when I was trying to conceive and when I was pregnant with my baby Alexander, who is now 9 months old. When you first decide you want to intentionally have a baby, you feel kind of stupid, especially if you've already had children. You feel like you're at the beginning. You're like, we did this accidentally before. Why can't we just do it, but on purpose? I know I did. I felt really just silly because when we were really trying for Alexander, he was our 4th child. And so I'm like, why can't this just happen? Why does it have to be all like scientific and programmed? So this video is going to break down as simply as explained as possible, and then just some tips to get you started, and then my following videos that will be, I think, every Tuesday. I think I'm gonna make it like a Trying to Conceive Tuesday, so hit that red subscribe button so you can get those videos. Let's kind of talk about how trying to conceive happens. And I'm assuming if you're here for Trying to Conceive advice, you know how a baby is formed. Some of this may seem simple, but I'm breaking it down so we can go through each step instead of skipping things so others aren't confused. So when you're having sex, you have intercourse, the man has an orgasm. The woman may have an orgasm too, but that isn't necessarily to actually conceive a baby. Now in my later videos, I will talk about how it may help and different things like that. But for the purpose of conception, you can have a baby without yourself as a woman having an orgasm as well, but the man has to have one. Sperm can live from 3 to 5 days, sometimes longer. Typically it's 3 to 5 days. And what happens is as soon as the sperm hits the vaginal cavity, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be inside your vagina, it can just be near it. It just starts swimming like crazy. The whole reason these guys live is to find an egg. Like this, their whole journey in life. While these guys are swimming, and I mean, there is like millions of sperm. Not all of them will make it there, but to start off with, there's millions. The path to the sperm getting from the penis to your egg is not an easy journey. You have to think about all the conditions they have to go through. So out of those million sperm, probably only 25 to 50 will make it to the area that needs to be. So a lot of women say, well, I don't understand. If there's millions of sperms during one sexual intercourse session, then how am I not pregnant? I thought the same thing. And then I watched a video, oh God, I can't remember the name of it. I'm going to find out what it is and I'm gonna link it below. It's a YouTube like series of videos that kind of show like a real life journey of what the sperm have to go through. So basically what happens is the sperm is going through and then it will make it, unless you've already ovulated during this time, it literally just waits there, like swims around and waits there for the egg to be released. Our body releases an egg, and then as soon as that egg is released, it sends kind of a signal off for the sperm to be like, ooh, it's an egg, let's go. It has to like break through a wall. So not every sperm is strong enough for that. And not only that, but if the egg isn't mature enough, then that can cause an issue too. If the egg is mature and the sperm is good and it breaks the wall and they meet like they're supposed to, then it goes through a process next 6 to 12 days, just multiplying through your fallopian tubes. And you might be thinking, well, my fallopian tube is really short, but you have to understand like the egg and the sperm are so minuscule. That's why you can't really, the naked eye can't see sperm swimming around in semen. It just doesn't happen. You have to have a microscope. When they get to the uterus, they plunge into the uterine lining, and that's called implantation. And I say plunge like you would feel it, but usually you don't. You might spot a little bit, you might feel a little bit cramping, but overall you really don't notice it. If your uterine lining is too thin, too thick, if there's anything going on, it may not be able to implant. And so you will never have known that you had a sperm and egg together. There are so many factors into getting pregnant. I wish it was easier. I joke all the time that I wish we could just get a text message like, it didn't happen, it's not gonna happen this month, instead of that 2-week waiting period that drives us insane. Okay, so let's get to some more like practical daily trying to conceive tips. There's many different ways that you can try to conceive. You can try to conceive very intensively and going all out, like body temperature, doing ovulation tests, all that good stuff. Or if you want to just start out with the simple things, the most simple simplest thing is charting when your period comes and goes. Even if you're going to do it the simplest way, I would suggest starting on about day 12. The first day that you have a flow of a period, that is considered cycle day 1. If you're researching online, you'll probably see it as CD1, cycle day 1. That's when I would start taking an OPK, which is ovulation prediction kit. The easiest way to do all these is really to have a fertility app. I actually recommend using Fertility Friend. It's something I use. I loved it to death. I even used it when we weren't trying to conceive, just to kind of chart my periods to know when I was expecting it. If you want to do it in amateur, like I'm not wanting to put in all that effort, that seems like a lot of work to get a baby, maybe the first few cycles, then you just want to do it where you have sex every other day or every 2 to 3 days. There are so many conflicting sources and opinions on when you should have sex according to your ovulation to get pregnant. Some say do it every day, some say do it every other day. You will hear so many stories of how women got pregnant. Sometimes it just happens. When I got pregnant with Alexander, we were not really trying that much. We weren't really putting everything into it like we had the months before. Out of all the cycles that we had tried, that would have been the least likely cycle for us to get pregnant, but we did get pregnant. Those are so subjective. I think that you're going to get pregnant when you're meant to get pregnant. We don't know when that's going to happen, and until we know, then I'm going to hope with every ounce of me that that month is this month, and we are not trying to conceive. If you guys are wondering, I'm just giving advice. If you want to start out on like a novice level, doing it every other day is probably the best bet. If that's just too much sex for you, don't worry, girl, I understand. Then do it every 2 to 3 days. I wouldn't space it out any further than that. If you're wanting to get it more exact, then again, from cycle day 12 until you get a positive ovulation test. When we do decide to try to conceive again, that's where we will start. About a week and a half after my periods started, I will start like taking an OPK. I will also link in the description where I get my strips from on Amazon. They're fantastic. I love using them. I know that no one wants to hear this, but it can take up to 12 months for a healthy couple, meaning the woman has no fertility problems and the male has no fertility problems together. It can take up to 12 months for you to conceive. I say this, but like I was getting so antsy after month 3. I'm like, why am I not pregnant? Give me a baby. Completely lost it because that is our nature. So it is completely normal if you get like kind of down about it, but I don't want you thinking that you need to rush to the doctors unless you have some other underlying medical cause. That's completely different. But let's just say this is just your first time doing this. You have no reason to believe it. I would definitely wait until the 8 to 9 month mark before going to the doctors for testing, because it can really take that long. Be as healthy as you can. Try to be as stress-free as you can. Another great thing is try to be as physically healthy as you can. I am overweight. I am not saying that you need to be skinny as ever to get pregnant. I'm not saying that at all, but try to be as healthy as possible, because weight can definitely play a role into it. Sometimes you don't have a control over it, and that's fine, but definitely keep that in mind. Other than that, there is really no key goal. It is just all about monitoring it and trying to do it as close to ovulation as possible. I've heard some women say that they do it like 4 or 5 times a day for like 10 days in a row. I do not know like how. I'm 30, I'm a little bit older, so maybe that's the thing, but I'm like, I don't even know how that's possible. Your partner needs enough time for his sperm to build its supply back up. So when you're doing it that much, he's virtually shooting blanks. So it's really not being as effective as you would think. So that's why they say every other day. Even every day isn't a really big issue. I've known plenty of people that get pregnant with doing it once a day, and more than once a day. I'm not saying if you do that, you're not gonna get pregnant, but if you're intentionally trying to get pregnant, I would definitely lessen the times you do it during the day. If you have any questions, I'm gonna do more specific videos, but this was just to kind of explain the conception process and just some basic trying to conceive tips. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And even if you don't have questions, comment below and tell me what your #1 tip to a beginning trying to conceive mama is. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, and we're gonna see you next time. Bye. So, we needed to go to Victoria's Secret. I'm gonna show you guys what I got. And yes, you are gonna see panties and bras. So if you're like, a little boy, you should probably click at this.